Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking time out of your busy Monday morning to be with us for today's webinar on Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2013. Now, in the next 30 minutes or so, we hope to show you what Microsoft Dynamics CRM is all about and give you everything that you need to make that decision to invest in CRM, or if you have an alternative solution to Dynamics CRM, to obviously switch to Microsoft Dynamics CRM. Now, my name is Paul Ince, and I'm a Solutions Architect for TSG, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Matt Clark, who is a Dynamics Specialist for Microsoft, and Jordan Wheat, who's a CRM Specialist from TSG. And I appreciate sometimes webinars can be a little bit impersonal, so this is actually what we look like. And in terms of the actual agenda this morning, Matt will start by going through some of the key areas of Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2013, and Jordan will then give you a detailed demonstration of the product and those features. We'll round it all off with a Q&A session from our audience. But before I hand over to Matt, a couple of points of order on the technicalities of the webinar itself. All microphones are muted. That's just to avoid background noise. So if you do have a question for us, then please enter that in the question box. I'll be collating all of the questions during the webinar, and between us, we'll answer as many of those as we can at the end. I can see who poses what question. So if we run out of time, or if the question is very specific to you, then what we'll do is we'll follow this up after the webinar with you directly. So with that, I shall actually hand you over to Matt.
Thank you, Paul. Good morning, everyone. My name is Matthew Clark. I'm a technology specialist at Microsoft in Dynamics CRM, Microsoft's customer relationship management solution. In this presentation, I'd like to give you a general overview of what Dynamics CRM is, why customers choose Dynamics, and the future for the product. Please feel free to ask me any questions at the end. So what is Dynamics CRM? In summary, there are 4 core workloads, all of which can be configured if needed to your specific business processes and requirements. There's sales, providing Salesforce automation, lead management, and pipeline forecasting. In the main dashboard of the system, I have a view of the meetings or tasks that I as a salesperson need to undertake. All of the components provide me with a history of the customer, a view of what's happened in the past, what is happening now, and what's happening in the future. This gives all the tools a salesperson needs to be a better seller. Then there's marketing, which provides lead generation through the automation of campaigns, events, and seminars, the management of marketing lists, and campaign responses. But most importantly, having the ability to understand whether the campaign and the marketing activity was actually successful. There's customer service. This allows us to service our customers via multiple channels, whether it be by phone, email, or online, all of which provides a better level of customer experience. And then on the right-hand side here, we have what is known as extended CRM, or custom apps. You can use the platform as a system for developing and expanding its core capabilities to manage any entity, may it be assets, people, projects, or products. It's an application framework for you to support consolidation of uses onto a single platform, allowing you to replace those disparate legacy applications. And all of this can be delivered cross-platform and cross-browser. Dynamics CRM can run on a Surface, iPad, PC, desktop, or mobile apps as required, offering your workforce the ability to access their CRM application from anywhere. Dynamics CRM provides you with the tools to manage your business processes. There's Workflow, providing business process automation, such as automatic email responses and generation of user tasks. Then there are dialogues that can walk a user through a call script or business process to ensure that data is captured efficiently and in the most consistent manner. Both of these tools increase the productivity of your workforce. The product provides built-in reporting capabilities for accessing real-time business intelligence. This can be surfaced in charts, dashboards, or system reports, and can be extracted to Excel for further manipulation. Then we have the deployment options, whether it be cloud, on-premise, or hosted by TSG, which gives you the flexibility to deploy a new solution on your terms. Having had a brief overview of Dynamics, why is it customers choose to invest in our platform? To start, through regular industry analysis from companies such as Forrester and Gartner, Dynamics CRM is regularly considered as a leader in its field. Secondly, the product is familiar and natural, being natively integrated with and having the look and feel of our Office products. This minimizes the amount of training the users require. Another key factor is the power of choice in terms of deployment. As I've mentioned before, the users have the choice of deploying in the cloud, on-premise, or hosted by TSG, which are all flexible throughout the life cycle of the deployment. Thirdly, the flexibility of the platform, which allows the solution to be delivered to a wide variety of industries, from small local businesses to multinational organizations. The ease of customization helps the application change with you as your business transforms. Now I'd like to move on to the future for Dynamics CRM. We've just announced the next 2 releases of the product, with some of the functionality being released this year shown on the slide. These will look to further enhance the user experience and integrate tools such as Marketing Pilot, NetBreeze, and Parature. These will bring together enhanced marketing and customer service capabilities, such as scalable email marketing, a unified service desk, and social listening tools, making use of more cloud-based services and mobile technology. Microsoft invests $10 billion a year in R&D, ensuring our products are always evolving. This is a mature product with a published statement of direction and a strong roadmap. Lastly, I'm going to touch on the strong relationship between Microsoft and TSG. Being one of our gold managed partners, we are working with them on a regular basis. This also entitles them to top-tier support through their Service Account Manager. They also work to the SureStep methodology, which is a comprehensive framework for customer engagement, from initial purchase through to delivery and project management. Finally, they hold 6 gold competencies across Microsoft products, which enables them to have a full business discussion helping you meet your business goals. Please feel free to ask me any questions you may have in regards to my slides at the end.
Thank you, Matthew. That's absolutely fantastic. It's really great to work with the Microsoft team, and I hope that you can all see how closely that we work with them at TSG. Working together with Microsoft is absolutely fundamental to the success of our business and also to the success of the implementations that we do on CRM. And it's great to be so tight together because it means that we can really understand products before they get released and understand what's coming so that we can really deliver top quality services to you. So with that in mind, let's actually have a look at the product itself. It's something that you're dying to do. It's the main reason why you're here. And so I'm going to hand over to Jordan, who will give us a demonstration of CRM 2013.
Thanks, Paul. Morning all, and thanks again for dialing into today's session and spending Monday morning with us. As just mentioned, in today's demonstration, which should take around 20 to 30 minutes, I'm going to show you Microsoft's latest edition of CRM, which is Dynamics CRM 2013. Throughout the demonstration, I'll be focusing on the core functionality and what's available within the Microsoft Dynamics CRM product. And as Matt touched upon earlier, the fact that it's a solution for all of your business areas, not be it just sales, it's also an enhancement tool for running your business customer service processes as well as marketing. So First and foremost, in front of you is the Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2013 product. It's my home screen, and just to give you an idea as to the navigation principles, it's very simplistic and should give you a similar look and feel to the products that you've probably worked with in the past, such as Office and Outlook. Across the top here, we've got what's known as the navigation bar. So if you can see, I go to the top, I've got the different areas and different entities and workplaces of which, as a user, I might want to go into. Because I'm set up as an admin user here, you can see that I've got areas for all areas of the business. But if I was specific to sales, I might just have the sales area. Again, if I was a customer service rep, service, and marketing, a marketing area. In terms of navigating throughout the system, you can see if I go into a pertinent area, it gives me a breadcrumb trail of where I'm going. If, for example, I wanted to go into my dashboard, which is loaded as my home screen, you can see that I can open my dashboard here, and once I get to the end of the breadcrumb trail, I've got a list of my recently viewed records. So looking at the multiple different dashboards that I might want to use. Microsoft have also made it really easy for you to create a record very quickly on the fly by using the Quick Create tool. So across the top here, if users are looking to quickly enter a customer record, which in Microsoft is known as an account, they can do so right from the Quick Create. You can also create phone calls, tasks, appointments, which are all obviously syncing with your Outlook given the Microsoft technology. This means that there's not duplicate of entry, and users can have one single view of appointments, phone calls and tasks that need to be followed up, be it in their Outlook diary or be it in their Microsoft diary. The reason Microsoft have enabled essentially the view at the top with a navigation bar with drop-downs and the quick facility to move around the system is purely because a touch-optimized basis. Microsoft, as I'll come on to a little bit later, have designed touch-optimized apps specifically for you, the user, as part of the license. But essentially, because now we can access Microsoft Dynamics CRM on the likes of Safari, on the likes of Chrome, as well as Internet Explorer, it means that if you're using this on a device that's maybe touch-enabled, such as a Windows Surface or an iPad, the whole system can be accessed and can be used simply. In front of you is the dashboard screen, which is I've set to default as my home screen. It can give me information such as my open activities for the day. So coming in on a Monday morning, I can filter by what they might be regarding, what activity type. So it might not just be tasks, it might be phone calls. And I can also look at the owner. So it might be me, it might be my colleagues. And using the view capability, I can look at exactly that, my potential closed activities. I might want to set up a view that's my team's activities, and it just means that I've got a landing page where I can come in and view information that's important to me. The dashboards themselves, as you can see here, I've got one that's Microsoft Dynamics CRM Overview. So as an admin user, I might want to know the opportunities that are in the pipeline, so relating to sales. I might want to know, from a marketing perspective, the leads that we're generating via which campaigns. And from the customer service perspective, which cases do we have open, who are they owned by in terms of the customer service reps, and what priority are they at. Now these dashboards can be configured and tailored to exactly what you're trying to report on as a business. If, for example, I take the pipeline and drill into that, we then get a list of all the fields that are actually on open opportunities, and I might want to take a segment of that pipeline and actually have a drill down of who the owner of that pipeline is by looking at a T-bar. So you can see here, I've then drilled down into that dashboard for open opportunities from a sales perspective, and as a sales manager now I can see open opportunities by specific owner. So if I'm phoning up my team and my colleagues, I can then have a chat with them about the specific opportunities that relate to them. In terms of searching, Microsoft have made it very easy to search around the system. So throughout the system you'll see search bars that are very similar to the way we use Word, Excel, Outlook. So it becomes very easy and very quick for the user to pick up the Microsoft solution from the word go, as it were. So navigation covered, let's actually have a look at the way Microsoft Dynamics CRM handles customer information and how we interact with our customers. So as I said earlier, customers in Microsoft Dynamics are called accounts. And if I go into accounts here, you can see I've got a list of my active accounts that are displaying. I've got fields of information straight in front of me that show the area of location, the phone numbers, information such as email, and I've also got charts helping me throughout the system. So in this particular instance, I've got accounts by industry. So again, if I'm wanting to search and look into a record or look at how information is displayed, these are all configurable and can be set up depending on what a user might want to see. Again, you've got the concept of views. So if I'm, from my perspective, I'm looking as a single user looking at my active accounts. But again, I might want to set up a view which shows my inactive accounts. It might be something along the lines of my team's accounts. And it just means that from a perspective of searching for the information, we can have a view, we can save that information, and then we can search via the information that's pertinent to us without having to constantly sift through records. So these are a list of my active accounts and customers. If I actually then go into a record to see what that looks like and how the information is stored, you can see we've got a summary here of information that you'd expect to see. So annual revenue, the number of employees that this particular customer has, and directly in the middle we've got something which is quite striking, which is a posts and activities pane. Now, in front of you, you can see posts, which essentially is an automation tool which allows, if we create a new sales record, which might be an opportunity, if we create a new contact, if we create a new customer service case, Microsoft Dynamics will automatically post on the account form. So as you can imagine, if you've got different touch points within your organization, be it sales, service, marketing, or new users coming into the system, who need to get up to speed very quickly with the account, they then get a list of information here of what's gone on and what's updated, just so that they can be in the loop, and if they're speaking to the customer over the phone, they know what's gone on. Activities-wise, as I say, activities within Microsoft Dynamics CRM have a tight integration with your Outlook diary. So phone calls, tasks, appointments, even emails integrate directly with CRM so that you've got one consistent repository for information, and users have got full disclosure of tasks, appointments and phone calls that are being had with the customer, be it them logged in Outlook or logged in CRM. So we've got a list of information here of the recent activities that have taken place, and just to show you how easy it is to actually log an activity, all we do is simply hit OK, and you can see across the top here the call is logged itself. So really easy way to store activities. As you can imagine, when you're on the phone, be it hyperlinking through to Skype or to technologies like Microsoft Link, or any VoIP system that you may have, we can dial straight out to the customer, we can quickly record the activity and move on with the rest of the work that we need. In terms of other information that Microsoft have integrated with the account forms, you can see here we've got a Bing Maps, which is as standard out of the box. So no longer are the days of you having to cut and paste a postcode into Google Maps or Bing Maps to work out where the customer is located and how long it's going to take to get there. So this is great from an account management perspective. As you can imagine, if your sales guys or customer service guys or engineers are out on the road and wanting to know exactly where the customer is located, they can access it via this Bing Maps tool, which is available on the account forms. In terms of the fields of information we've got different ways of storing information. So there's all sorts of different fields that you can have, be it drop-downs, be it mandatory fields, so that you're ensuring users don't progress or save the record unless a certain piece of information is filled. And also contextualized fields. So you can see the address here, which is has been amalgamized together, and instead of having separate fields for each, you then get a pop-out of the information that you can fill in, which once you've saved will compress the information, just meaning that from a user acceptance point of view, it's easier to see and easier to look at the information. So in terms of the information that we can store, you can see here we've got the relationship of the different contacts that we've got at this forward-thinking technology company. We can also look at their recent sales opportunities, look at the recent customer service cases, and also right the way down to information such as service contracts that we might have with them, so support agreements or procurement contracts or business contracts that might expire. And from a marketing perspective, looking at their contact preferences and how they might want to be contacted. Do they want to be included in bulk emails, in any marketing activity that we drive? So it's one essential repository for customer information that anyone coming in looking at their customer record can come in and see exactly who the people is we need to engage with, what engagements have taken place, what's going on in terms of sales activity, customer service activity, as well as marketing. So I hope that gives you a good overview of how customer management is managed using the accounts and contacts forms. In terms of the next scenario that I'm going to look at is sales cycle management. So as well as having a ring-fence repository for sales leads, what we also have is the ability for you to essentially nurture and progress certain elements of the sales cycle. So right the way through from taking them as an inquiry, which might be a business lead, it might then be a data sheet that you brought in, and we can capture the information right from that prospect stage all the way through to a qualified interest, which is what we'd essentially call an opportunity. Now, as a sales user, what I might want to have is a sales management dashboard. So what we've got here is information which is basically been saved and stored within CRM, updated by our users, and it's pulled through to this dashboard pane. So no longer are the days of you having Excel spreadsheets that have to work out or reports that take weeks to pull together. These are all dynamic reports that are just looking at the data within CRM. So you can see here we can look at information like pipeline versus forecast, so working out what's coming in versus what are we actually forecasting. Sales leaderboards, looking at your top salespeople, helping them, pushing them along to the next stage, ensuring that they're keeping on top of their opportunities and sales leads. And actual revenue by month, so the won opportunities that we've actually succeeded, and the analysis of how that correlates to the months and the calendar year. We can then look into this record a little bit further. So you can see here, if I take my opportunities by close probability by rep, we've got the different salespeople here within the organisation, and the revenue that's coming in forecasted by the probability. So if I actually want to take a look of, that's great, but what are these records made up of? I can then click my pane here to then see the list of all these open opportunities. So if I take the opportunity, for example, one here, which is a record, I can then actually see what the sales record looks like itself. So as I say, prior to this record you might have had a sales lead that was then qualified, and now we're working on a physical opportunity which shows that this organisation, Variety Sales, have a genuine interest in a product or service that we may have to offer. And what we need, or what we're trying to achieve with this record, is capturing that sales cycle, capturing the engagement, and making sure that we're doing everything possible within our power to ensure that we end up closing this business and progress that to a quote or an order. So across the top on the opportunity record, you'll see something which is quite striking, which is Microsoft's process flow management tool. And what this allows us to do is it allows the users to capture information that you as a business might want them to essentially define in the opportunity stage. So thinking about what the estimated budget might be for this project, what purchase process are they going to go down, timeframes, have we identified the decision maker, and you can set these fields up to be mandatory to ensure that new users or new sales users who might have previous disciplines can follow this process and ensure that they're making sure they hit every milestone to ensure that they get the right sales stage so that your reporting is completely accurate. So in this situation, because we may have entered all the information and ticked all the boxes, what we then might want to do is progress this to the next stage. So you can see across the top here, we've then moved to the develop stage, and now I can start to think about the other information of moving this opportunity along. So further information on the customer need, have we identified the stakeholders that are involved in this project, and throughout the process, we can then capture all the way to the proposal stages, so i.e. entering a quote, and then obviously closing it off as a one piece of business. What you can also do with these opportunities is assign to certain teams. So in this instance, if you have got certain sales teams that work on particular products or services, these opportunities can be assigned to them and delegated via the use of queues. The process flow itself as well, you may have certain processes for certain ways of sales engagements or certain ways of doing things. So in our example is TSG, we don't just provide CRM services and CRM implementations, we also have projects for system care and selling infrastructure. So with the use of the bar or switching process tool at the top, what I might want to do is actually choose a different sales process for different types of sales and different types of sales engagements. So actually looking at the opportunity record again, we've got the what's new, which is auto tracking, which is what I showed you on the account form. So if you've got multiple people working on this opportunity, if the probability changes, if the value of the opportunity changes, essentially there'll be a post here just so that you've got full disclosure as a sales manager or as another sales user viewing this record of what's gone on and where we're up to. We can start to capture information such as essentially the estimated revenue, what products that we might be associating to this opportunity, and ultimately how warm this opportunity is and what the probability of it closing. Microsoft has the ability to actually create quotes. So if you have got separate systems where you've got a quoting solution which might be done in Word or Excel, I can then create a new quote which will pull through all the information that's previously stored on products or services that we might have associated to the opportunity. And what I can then do is progress this quote then to an active quote and then pulling it right the way through to an order or an invoice. So again, Microsoft gives you that full information on orders, invoices and quotes. So it pulls all that system together and ensures that you've got one unified sales process. As you can see at the top, as previously mentioned, we can print it to the customer once it's ready, and you could have your own mail merge templates or predefined templates. Using web services and third-party integrations that are available through the Microsoft Marketplace, Microsoft CRM can actually integrate with your back-office systems, so the likes of Microsoft Dynamics Nav, so that you've got one repository for quotes, one repository for orders, account information, and that it's unified and reduces time for manual input and manual intervention. So I hope that gives you a useful overview of the sales section, and as you can see, it gives you some great foundations into how you can boost your sales efforts and how you can manage the process from all the way from prospect to closing an actual order and invoicing the customer. In terms of the next scenario I'm going to run through is marketing. So for those marketing users, what I'm going to touch upon is essentially the core area and the glue that holds everything together, which is the campaign record. So first and foremost, if we look at one of the marketing dashboards that I've got set up, what we can start to view in the same way as we would with sales information is full disclosure and full information on the campaigns that are running and how effective these campaigns are. So if I look at the campaign dashboard that we've got across the bottom here, we can start to look at how many leads we're generating via campaign, i.e. which one's the most successful. More importantly, how many of those leads have actually turned into revenue, and just from a reporting perspective, we can identify the value of our marketing efforts back to our managing directors, back to the board of trustees, or whoever it may be, that the campaign activity we're running is actually proving profitable and it is working for the business. So again, we can look at things like campaign budget versus actual costs. So let's actually have a look at one of the campaign records themselves and how we pull all of it together. And what we mean by a campaign is it's not necessarily just one single type of marketing campaign. It could be a customer event, it could be a promotion of a product, it could be a new release, it could be anything really, any marketing activity from a product release. As I say, different types can all be captured within this campaign's entity. So for the purpose of the demonstration, I'm going to use one that's already created within the system, an active customer event. So I'm within my campaign screen now, and essentially this, as I say, is the glue of where all the marketing activity will be pulled together. So similar to the sales process, we've got a process that we can define, or multiple different processes that we can have for the different types of campaigns that we're running. And across the bottom here, in terms of the summary information that we can capture a unique code for the campaign itself. We can capture expected responses, the schedules, so the timings of it all, proposed start dates, actual ends, etc. And more importantly, the activities that are going on. So you might have multiple marketing users putting in tasks, making phone calls to the event venues. You might have people booking information on where the events are stored, and all of it will be pulled through here and pulled through so that you've got full disclosure on this campaign record. So thinking about where an event might start, you might choose to associate a marketing list. So essentially what I've already done here is defined one, which is our active customers. So you can see here the offer is our annual flagship customer event. So we're looking to invite all of our active customers to one annual event. So the marketing list, essentially how we define all of that is it's driven through what's known as Microsoft's Advanced Find tool. So essentially the Advanced Find tool is used throughout the system for searching and looking up information. And you can see here we've got the ability to make it dynamic or static. So dynamic being that if we get users that, so you can see here the members at the moment are looked at, which are all active customers. But if for example, accounts in the next 2 to 3 weeks prior to the event add new active customers, they will then get added to the marketing list, meaning that we've got a constant update of the numbers that are actually coming to this campaign. So if I look at manage members, you can just see the breakdown of how these members have actually come into one place and have been associated to this campaign using the Advanced Find tool. Here we're looking for accounts. We've looked at the status equals active, but again what we might want to do is look at information like by looking at their fields and enter things like their city. So if it was in a particular location, you might want to define it by all active customers that equals London. And also you can look at numeric information, so it might be greater than, less than, i.e. customer revenue spend, or looking at information such as contains data, does not contain data, just so that you can slice and dice the information and pull together a structured marketing list based on the information that's in CRM. So that's essentially the start of it, where we've pulled all the lists together of the people that we're going to target for this campaign. Going back into the actual physical campaign itself, we can look at the disclosure of the campaign activities that we're running. Now, campaign activities might be e-marketing shots, they might be essentially activities that you've filled up via phone. So Microsoft gives you the ability to send out mail merges. It also gives you the ability to make customer phone calls automated. So as opposed to having to put a manual phone call in each one of the sales users' diary prior to an event, Microsoft has a campaign activity automation tool which allows you to schedule the customer calls based on the marketing list in each one of the sales users' diaries, or whoever needs to make up the phone call. Further down, we can also look at financial information. So we can allocate a budget at the start of the campaign and then look at the activity cost, and you can see that's got a padlock next to that. And essentially what that's looking at is the campaign activities, because with campaign activities we can associate a cost. So you can imagine if you've got a presenter at an event or you're booking a venue, you can associate a cost to that so that you can start to look at how you're weighing up versus your budget and manage that so that you're not going over it, and that you can make sure the return on investment that you're getting from this event is going to be as what expected. We then have an area as well to look at the responses that we've had. So campaign responses will be obviously once the salespeople are making the phone calls, or once you've had inbound marketing or responses via email or via letter, you can start to capture those and then progress those to sales leads and then opportunity records. Opportunities can then be progressed to orders, and in terms of how that's all captured within CRM and how we can then look at how successful a campaign's been, Microsoft gives you what's known as out-of-the-box reports. So this is using SQL technology and SQL reports, but if I look at performance like campaign performance, which is available to me out of the box, I can run this report and exactly that, have a whole view which I can print off to perhaps the board of trustees or the managing director to just give a summary of how well we've done with this campaign, what's gone on and how profitable it was. So this is useful information when we're running next year's flagship events, i.e. what went well, what perhaps could we have done differently, and what was our response rate in terms of, like I say here, response codes, so how many people were actually interested, how many responses were not interested, out of those responses that were interested and not interested, what channel did they come in, so we can look at actually next year what is the best methodology of going to them. Is it email? Is it by booking an appointment and talking to it via them? Is it by phoning them? And most importantly, we can then look at the financials, so how much did the event actually cost, how much budget did we allocate, what was the estimated opportunity revenue, what was the actual opportunity revenue, and after the event, once customers start to place orders, we can then get a feed through of how many orders have been placed. So a great way to give you marketeers full disclosure of the marketing activity that you're running, and allow you to capture those key ROIs to present back to the business to ensure that to show where you're adding value and how successful the campaign activity you're running is. So essentially that's marketing, and whilst that was a whistle-stop overview, what I'm now going to look at is customer service. So customer service itself, in summary, again what we can have is dashboard set up to manage our cases, have a look at the different information that's coming in for the service funnel, be it from our website, be it from a customer phone inbound inquiry, and it allows us to capture contract information as well as those customer service cases. So again, I've got a dashboard set up as a customer care manager of the cases that we've got within the system, and I can look again at the different records that are, or different cases as it were, that are within the system. So for example, if I choose a case that a customer has inquired about, which is a priority of high, I can then, using the process flow again, essentially nurture this case, making sure that I've identified the issue. I can then progress it along all the way through to resolution, which then again can be put against their contract. We can essentially look up for new users, similar cases and knowledge-based articles. So you might have articles within the system that are essentially resolutions, so that your users can quickly get a whole handle on when the resolutions need to be fulfilled and what needs to be done to ensure that this customer case is completed. We can also look at other recent cases that the customer has essentially inquired about, just so that we're making them happy, we're making sure that we're responding to the issues, we've got a view of the other active cases that are open so that we can talk openly about them over the phone with them, and meaning that all in all we can provide this one unified customer service experience. For the last part of the demonstration, what I'm going to show you is the actual mobile client that Microsoft have made available for you as a Microsoft customer. As well as having access to this web client itself, we can also view information via a mobile device, which is essentially something that Microsoft have provided to us and configured. And one that I'm going to show you now is specifically for sales users. So if I was a sales user out on the road, if I was specific to a manager or looking at my team or looking at my certain accounts, I can start to add information very quickly here via my iPad, via my Windows Surface, and I can also click into my account information as I would via the web client. So via here we can start to add activities if I'm out on the road, if I'm out on the train. We can also look at the customer's open opportunities or cases, and this is just an example how Microsoft are investing in the solution to ensure that moving forward those users who do have iPads, who do have Windows Surface devices, are able to use the system seamlessly through their mobile device. So whilst that was a whistle-stop tour of Microsoft Dynamics CRM, that does conclude the demonstration, and I hope it gives you a good overview of the functionality available within Microsoft Dynamics CRM and how feature-rich the product is itself. So without further ado, I'll pass back over to my colleague Paul, and I hope that was useful.
Thanks, Jordan. Great demo there. There's obviously a lot in Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2013, and it is quite difficult to show you in rather a whistle-stop tour. So we do hope to be able to expand on some of the key features either in one-to-one demonstrations with you or in future webinars, so do watch this space for that. There's a lot more to come from Microsoft too, and as Matthew was saying, you know, $10 billion are invested in R&D, and a lot is actually invested in CRM itself. and the rest of the Microsoft Dynamics family. And in fact, the new CEO, Satya Nadella, was at one time part of the Dynamics team. So I'm pretty hopeful of a strong future for the Dynamics family of products and CRM. Microsoft will continually develop these updates for CRM, and I wanted to give you a flavour of what that actually potentially means for you, because many alternative CRM applications out there, keep you waiting a number of years between updates, and Microsoft Dynamics CRM is not like that at all. It's really changing the way that the market is played here. So whichever deployment method you have, there are continuing developments for it. If you are a Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online customer, then you'll get 2 releases per calendar year. If you're an on-premise customer, then that will tend to be one around about the autumn. But that does vary. So, for example, the Spring 14 release that's around the corner will be made available to those who have an on-premise deployment, although the update is predominantly a cloud-based, it's for cloud-based services. You may be thinking, well, okay, that makes it quite difficult for me to keep up with lots of changes, and how do I manage a CRM deployment in this constant world of change? And what I'd say to you is that as your partner for IT services, then what we will do at TSG is advise you of what's best for your business, which updates you should take and when, and which when you should do that, and really try to minimise the disruption for your business. So we're very much about working in partnership, and this is one of the ways that we would do that. Okay, so I'd like to take some time now to answer a few of the questions that we've had during the webinar. As I said in the introduction, where questions are very specific, we'll ensure that you get a follow-up to go through that on a one-to-one basis. So we'll stick with some of the more generic questions relating to CRM. So the first question that I'm going to pose is for Jordan. Jordan, could you perhaps just give us a flavour for how easy or difficult potentially it is for somebody to set up, say, the integration with Outlook and Office?
Yeah, not a problem, Paul. Essentially, it's not difficult at all. There's a piece of middleware which Microsoft provide free of charge. It's called the Outlook connector, and once you download it for CRM, it's simply a case of pointing it to your CRM organization URL, which is obviously the hyperlink at the top in the web pane, and it gives you full access to obviously the Outlook integration. So it means that your tasks, appointments, phone calls will sync. It means that you can track emails not just against the customer record, but against a specific project that you might be working on, against a specific sales opportunity or customer service case. So it gives you that full information and allows you to actually use their what's known as Outlook client. So you can actually use the whole of the system, as I've shown today in the web client, without actually leaving Outlook once the integration's set up. So not difficult at all. If it's something that quite a few of you want to see in a separate demonstration, I'm happy to show that and take that into another session. But once that Outlook connector is installed, it's not difficult at all. Something that you as a user could set up, or we could show you via training, and it will give you that full integration availability.
Thank you, Jordan. Okay, next question I'm going to put to you, Matt, if that's okay. I just wondering whether you could maybe give us an idea of the social platforms that Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2013 will integrate to, and sort of what that sort of concept is all about.
Yes, yeah, no problem. In terms of sort of social integration with Dynamics, we have Yammer, which is a social tool for the business that can sit within Dynamics, giving you the ability to collaborate with colleagues through Dynamics, discussing and sort of capturing information between teams. This gives a good platform for sharing internally, making sure you have the most up-to-date information. Also, as I mentioned earlier, as part of one of our upcoming releases, we have functionality coming through for social listening. This will allow you to monitor your brand presence on social media, giving sort of sentiment analysis on how your brand is being perceived. This will allow you to sort of measure up against your competitors, lets you track strategic initiatives for sales, service and marketing, linking with key influencers, and also gives an early warning system, gaining an early insight into problematic issues.
Just while you're there, we've also got questions referring to sort of what is Orion, what is Leo, what is Mira, these things that people see on the internet, and I just wonder if you can sort of explain to everyone what that means and why it may or may not be relevant.
Yeah, no problem. So they're sort of code names we use internally for releases of Dynamics CRM that are part of the roadmap. So as I mentioned earlier, these are sort of planned releases, scheduled for updates and additions to the solution in advance. These code names are used so that we can differentiate between the releases as we look forward to what's coming up.
Thank you, Matt. And it's worth also saying to people, as we go forward with these releases, we will of course give you all the right information that you need about what's coming up and what each release is about. And if you sign up for these regular webinars that we hope to do, then you'll get all of that information really early on, and you'll be in a great position to take your business forward on the CRM platform. Okay, a question for Jordan now, really relating to back office systems. So can Microsoft CRM link with our existing back office system, websites and other programs, for example, e-marketing?
Thanks, Paul. Yes, essentially. Microsoft uses web services, which essentially allows it to connect to websites. It allows you to connect to back office systems. So essentially, once those web services are configured or developed, as it were, they can be connected, for example, up to your website or up to your back office systems. As well as that, there's also the concept of applications. So for the likes of back office systems, such as integration with, perhaps if you had Dynamics Nav as your back office system, or AX, or any other solution which may be done by another vendor, there are often applications out there that enable integration, which again need to be configured, but once set up you can have essentially a clear view of orders or quotes pushing to orders into your account system, just so that there's full disclosure from both systems of information relating to accounts. Microsoft also have a marketplace which all these apps are stored on, so it be it the free connector that Microsoft give you for the Nav or AX integration, or anything like integration with the likes of Communicator or MailChimp, examples of e-marketing. Essentially there's apps out there that people have developed that allow you to connect to these systems so that you can start to capture the results that you would in MailChimp or Communicator straight back into CRM.
Thank you, Jordan. Okay, like I said, any of the questions that we've had are probably a bit individual, so we'll follow those up with you directly. But that's pretty much it for now. I would just like to say thank you to Matthew Clark at Microsoft and Jordan Wheat here at TSG for presenting with us today, and thank you for taking the time to watch this webinar. If it has sparked an interest in the Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2013 product, or if you have a question that you'd like to ask directly, if you think of something later on today, then the team will be more than happy to help you out. The details of how to contact us are here on the screen. So drop us an email at info@tsg.com, or why not pick up the phone and give us a call directly on 0845 1111 888. That's 0845 1111 888. Thanks again, and enjoy the rest of your day.